The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC. Go. Guidance. Go. Fido. Go. Prop. Go. GNC. Go. Max.
Go.
Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you could need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, good evening. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys? Hi, chat. How's everybody doing? My name is Joni Skinner, and we are streaming live now on the R.I.F.T Nation Network on Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. So please hit that like button and share. How is everybody? Boy, what a true crime weekend. It's just been nonstop, hasn't it? True crime, unbelievable. It's just been nonstop. But if you have never seen our show, I am a forensic astrologer where we combine astrology and true crime, and I'm trying to watch. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with Nancy's case. So my phone is on and it's streaming because the FBI are apparently at both homes, at Savannah Guthrie's sister's home and at Nancy Guthrie's. So I'll keep that on live, but if I keep looking over, that's what I'm doing. I'm watching because the FBI has been instrumental in Savannah Guthrie's mother's case. If you've been living under a rock since, let's say, Sunday, you will know that Savannah Guthrie is a very famous news person in the States. And her mother, her God love her heart, her 84-year-old mother was abducted from Tucson, Arizona on Saturday evening on the 31st. It's shocking. I've done true crime since the 1980s. I've been in the true crime field. I have never in all of my years seen anything like this with an 84-year-old woman. It's really a puzzling mystery. And I'll tell you, I did the crime chart, like y'all know I do. Every week we go over crime charts. We look at what the astrology says. We keep an open mind always because we follow the astrology. It's always correct. It's always accurate. Well, when I kept looking at the chart, my logical part of my brain, and wait until you see it, didn't want to accept it. I'm like, no, this is not this. There's something wrong. Maybe it's the timestamp because we don't really have an accurate timestamp. We know that, and the police have not acknowledged this, but it's out. Everybody's said this. I mean, all of the really correct true crimers like Ashley Banfield and Brian, I mean, they've all said this, that her Apple Watch stopped syncing with her heart monitor at 2 a.m. And that meant that she was out of range, which is about 50 feet. It was around 2 a.m. So I used 2 a.m. because that's the time that she got out of range from where the watch would pick up the sync. And her daughter or her son-in-law, we've never been able to confirm, dropped her off at home on Saturday. Now I've heard at a restaurant, out to dinner, at a church function around 9:30, 9:45. So I did a chart for that time. Now, talk about a small world. Nancy was born in the exact area I live. So the local community where I'm at, where she was born and went to school and went to high school, they're doing all kinds of prayer vigils for Nancy and everything. I didn't know that, but I'm not a big news person. I know that Savannah was going to do the Olympics because I watched the Olympics and she's always on the Olympics. So, and I like her. I think she's a good newscaster. And I also looked up and I thought, well, why would she be abducted? Why would an 84-year-old woman? God, I mean, it just, I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I looked up, naturally, maybe kidnap, Savannah's net worth. You know, it goes from 40 million to about 20 million, give or take a million. So she's very, very wealthy, her daughter. But that doesn't mean mom's very wealthy. So every day, more and more is starting to come out. So let's check in with the chat and let's get into this chart because you're not going to believe it. Hello, Miss Lee. Police in Georgia have announced that the son of Lil Jon is missing. Really? I'll have to check that out too because I like him. Really? You know, Lil Jon is on the I watched the not home shopping, but the home HGTV. He's a wonderful designer. He has a show on HGTV in the Atlanta area where he's a designer. He's a great designer. How are you, Lee? I'll have to check that out. Hello, Miss Lois, Miss Kathy, Miss Tammy. How are you all? Hello, Miss Denise. Hello, Miss Peggy. How are you? Hi, Miss Lisa. How is everybody? Check in chat. Hi, Miss Cindy. How are y'all? There was a comment on TMZ about a family member. You know, we'll get into that too, Lee, because TMZ is kind of like reminds me of what the National Enquirer was when I was growing up. And apparently TMZ claims that they had received a ransom note via email, right? They put it on air. Now, why in the world would you just not turn that over to be a responsible news outlet, give it to the authorities and let them deal with that? Why would you either I don't know. I just, I thought, well, that's TMZ, National Enquirer. So um, it's just been a wild story. Wait till you see this astrology. Peggy is down south, finally warming up. Girl, we haven't been warm since Christmas. We have not been warm here. It snowed. We had another foot of snow. We've had another foot of snow. It's still here. We can't get rid of it. We cannot get rid of it. Can't get rid of it. Yeah, on TMZ. Well, let's get on this. Have you? Who's Lil Jon the rapper? He's like a DJ. Lil Jon is a real famous DJ more than a rapper, but he's a rapper too. But I like him. He's got a really good show on HGTV. He did. They did great design work. But there's Miss Savannah. She is a network. A network. Oh, okay. Peggy said she heard it was sent to 3 stations. And isn't that funny that apparently TMZ was the only one that turned it over. You don't want, this is an active investigation. Why would you want to screw that up? Okay, so for those of you who don't know about Miss Nancy, this is Tucson, Arizona, is, I would say, probably right now, but I've heard that, it's gotten a little bit more crime, but it's one of the most beautiful places in the United States. Now, this is an aerial of her home. If you notice, it's pretty sparse. I mean, this is a 3,000 square foot home. Beautiful home. Now, look at this. This is the road. Look at the vegetation. Look at, you can't see other houses. So what are Ring cameras going to do? Not much. There are no street lights in Arizona on their streets. It's pitch black. Why? Because because of the stars. People want to see the stars at night. They want to see the Milky Way. It's beautiful. So they don't have street lights. They have very strict rules about streetlights because of the nature. I get it. And this is the front of her home. Look at those aloe plants. They're gigantic. Just a beautiful home. Crystal shows happening out there right now. Yeah. There's the FBI is there right now. FBI is at Nancy's house and at Annie, her other daughter's home, apparently. So this is a beautiful visual of her home. There's the pool, backyard, but as you can tell, it's very desolated. I mean, and there's another front. Now, if you see the front, yesterday they had released this home. It was no longer a crime scene. So, but the FBI went back tonight, just about an hour ago, and put crime scene back up again and took some things out of the home. And what's funny is, wait till you see the chart. Because after they released it, I was like, no, you got to get back in the house. You got to get back in the house. There's the front of the home. Now, pay attention when we look at this to the driveway, the front steps, and the walkway. Now, Miss Nancy was not good on her feet. She needed a walker. She used a cane. But she was very alert. Her mind was extremely alert. There was no dementia, so we can forget, she didn't wander off. So here we go. There's another look at this home. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, we love JLR Investigates. Now, JLR went through and Nancy's home is the red dot. He put a little finger mark as to every camera. So every way out of her home, there was a camera. So around 2 in the morning, you know they're looking for a particular car. You know they are with the license readers. More crimes are solved now with license readers than any place. However, Arizona doesn't require 2 plates. They only require 1 plate in the back. There's a lot of states. Kentucky has just 1 plate. They don't have 2 plates. Now this is funny. This is the front door. She had Nest cameras. She didn't have Ring cameras. Now, did the police take that, or did the perp pull that off so he or she wouldn't be filmed? Mystery. Now, I'm going to give this kind of a little trigger, because they had found when Brian from News Nation went up to knock on the front door, there was red blood on the walkway. So he filmed it. So that's what I'm getting ready to show. So if it bothers you, just giving you kind of a heads up. Now, this was in the front walkway. Now, this isn't good. And he filmed this yesterday. Now, we always see and hear experts talk about splatters and droplets, and that spray as if somebody's holding pressure onto something, and then they might like take their hand off, you'll get a spray. The droplets will occur kind of like when you have your nose. But what's funny is there's no footprints. So if somebody's walking, if she walked out of the home, you would have walked through that and you would have seen smearing. Was she carried out? Who was she carried out? These are all questions. And there's the droplets. Now, when you got to the driveway, they stopped. Well, we know what that means. Car, possibly. Also, the back door was left wide open. The back door in the back was wide open. Now, remember, at 2 a.m., her heart stopped to sync. Her heart monitor stopped syncing with the watch. So I used 2 a.m. This will blow you guys away, because I know you guys see charts. Okay, now this is the chart that I looked at, right? Saturday. When did I do this? I don't remember when Sunday. And I thought, wait a minute. We know that Nancy is Scorpio because she's the ascendant. The victim is always Scorpio. Well, not always Scorpio, but she's always the ascendant. The moon is always the co-ruler. Look at that 4th house. Look at the 4th house. The 4th house on this chart had me so stumped, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in the 4th house. So let's pick the 4th house apart. Now, the 4th house is not only an angular house, which is an important house in forensic astrology. It's the end of the matter. It's the home. It's the home. So this is what took place in the home, right? Where and who is the perp? Where's the perpetrator? So we look at Taurus. Taurus is over in the 7th house because it's opposite of the victim. The ruling planet of Taurus is Venus. Well, our perp is in the home. The perp is in the home. So we know now at 2 a.m., Nancy is in there because Scorpio, their ruling planet, is Pluto. and Mars. Look at that. Pluto and Mars are together in the 4th house. There's Nancy in the home with the perp. Whenever you have the sun near the victim, whenever the sun is next to the victim in a forensic astrology chart, they are in imminent danger. It's right in front of them. Imminent danger in the home. It can also mean an older man. Venus is not only the perp, it can also mean, oh, we got a female. I don't think one person pulled this crime off, whether it's an abduction, whether she's being held for ransom, whatever. I think there were more than one person. And then we've got Mercury in there. What is Mercury? Mercury can be a car. It can be a phone. So look at that packed 4th house. So all of our clues are really in the 4th house. But when we go up and I'll read you, let me read you some of the notes from the 4th house, right? So, and this is from Kirsty McIntosh's book, which is the best in forensic astrology. The 4th house, the sun in the 4th house tells us truth will be found in the home. So when they released the home so quickly, I was like, get back in the house. The clues are back in the house. You're missing something, right? Mercury, communications. There may be a note. Uh-oh. The note, the ransom note. Maybe there's another note. There's going to be a note found. Suspect may live nearby. I thought, well, that's weird. Okay. Venus, a woman in the home. The home has clues. Mars in the 4th house, assaulted in the home. And I hate to say this, but blunt trauma, hidden weapons. Pluto, hiding, intentional hiding. So those are all of our clues from the planets in the 4th house, right? So I was the 5th house kind of had me a little, what? What is that? Oh, okay, my bad. There's more for the 4th house. Hidden locations, inside buildings, underground, low-lying, could be near bridges, vacant lots, older residences, rural properties, barren area. Home, the hidden. The hidden is in the home. Okay? Concealed. So there's a lot of clues there that are with all those planets in the 4th house, right? So I skipped the 5th house because the 5th house is, that's odd. That could be remains. It could also be an older person, but the 5th house is our house of creativity. It's fun. It's children, right? So I kept thinking, why is it the home? Everything is concentrated in the home, right? Now, the 6th house, we have Neptune. And remember, that's daily routine. Daily routine. Someone in the home. Daily life. So I thought, okay, perhaps it was somebody, maybe a gardener, maybe a cleaning, who knows? That's what my mind was thinking. So then let's look at the 7th house. The 7th house with Uranus, that's the perp. It's going to tell us about the perp. Erratic, unconventional background, strikes without warning, unstable. Uranus anytime is going to be like that crapshoot of chaotic instability. And they're just going to be like, they're going to come out from nowhere and strike, especially in the 7th house, right? So then we're going to come, the ninth house continues to show up in crime charts. So now the moon, that's Nancy, co-ruler. It could be highways, like long, major highways, rest stops, airports, public narrative control. Victim was moved. She was moved. Victim was moved. A lot of planning and premeditation went to lengths, at lengths. Now, Jupiter in the ninth. Check this out. Jupiter in the ninth. Mountains, high places, open air, foreign people. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that all of these things describe the location. Now, this is what I thought about with if the ransom note was true. She's 60 miles from the border. Could this be a cartel situation? I couldn't think of why anybody would want to abduct an 84-year-old woman. It's just beyond. They left her purse, her phone, medications. She apparently needs her medications to stay alive. Medications, her cane, everything that she needed in life was left behind in the home. So then today, I thought, this is crazy. It's in the home, It's all in the home. So Ashley Banfield, I don't know if y'all know who she has her crime show. And I think she's with News Nation too. She's been doing crime. Ashley Banfield has been for 40 years. She's been true crime. She's one of the best. She came out last night and said one of her sources said that the other daughter that lives in the area in Tucson, her car was taken in for processing, her car, and that the son-in-law was being looked at. Now, it's not unusual. The first, when something happens to a family member where they disappear, the first people that law enforcement looks at is the family. They come in, they look at the family, and then they move outward. Then they will look at workers. They'll look at because we know, could it have been somebody that delivered her groceries? Could it have been a gardener, a pool person, a cleaning person, somebody at church? We don't know. But they're always going to look at the family first. So it didn't surprise me that they are processing somebody's car. It's not unusual. You can either get it with a warrant, or you can say, hey, take my car. Just do what you got to do. I have nothing to hide. So all of these things were breaking. And I thought, well, isn't that funny that all of these things occurred in the home? And it's just odd. It's a very odd chart. Yes. And Neptune also, you know what, Lisa, too, it could be drug use. Could be. It could absolutely be drug use. And you know what? Neptune is also cameras, video. I think they know they're looking for a specific vehicle. I think so. I think so. And you know what? Lee, just to say that some people on X are posting their ties with. Well, here's the thing, and you guys know how I feel about the whole Epstein dump of 3 million things. They were doing a really good job, the bipartisan congressional people, with the Epstein case all year. They had released all of the Epstein estate information. They met with victims. They got subpoenas out. They're questioning people. They're doing it the right way. It's bipartisan. It's wonderful. They've been doing this for a year. They have redacted all of the victims. They've met with them. They've treated them wonderfully. All of a sudden, it takes a couple of politicians to start showing, I don't know what they were doing, screaming that they need to release the files when volumes and volumes have been released all year. Now, what we're seeing now that got released on because of this grand, this showcasing or whatever these people were doing, they didn't have the victims in mind. It's tip lines. So a lot of this information that you're seeing, like posted on X, is when people call in a tip line and they say, well, I got this and this and that. So be very careful with anything that you're seeing on Epstein right now, because a lot of them will have a notation where the FBI had to go and do tips and follow up, and it says recommended psychiatric help. So a lot of the stuff that you're seeing, believe like none of it, and check everything that you see, because a lot of it is they had to release all the tip line stuff. So how many wackos call into tip lines over and over again? Don't believe, just, if I don't believe, why would they have ties with Epstein? It's crazy. Yeah, up in the mountains. I hope she's still alive. I pray she's still alive. 84 years old. It's just so sad. It's just, but I don't know. The FBI is now over at the sister's house too, apparently. Now, this is funny too, y'all, because this is the chart that I did when she was when she was dropped off. Look at how this astrology works. Check this out, you guys. So this is when she was out, whether out at a restaurant or at a church function. Guess what she was doing? Socializing. So all of those planets are in the 5th house, which would be out having fun. And look at the moon. Look at that. Look at the moon in the 11th house. That's social circles. That's fun. So we can tell from this particular chart that she is still very much alive. There's nothing malefic. There's nothing malefic in this particular chart. But we can see, remember how the perp moved down and was Taurus? Look at Uranus. It's all brewing. You can start, when you start to do forensic astrology charts, and you can do about 4 charts, you can see what we call a death pattern, and you can start to see it occurring. You can almost rack it down to a time too. So if I would just do like 11 o'clock, 12 midnight, 1 a.m., that you could see a lot of that. You could, it could be the beginning of a death pattern, but at this we know, because the moon's in the 11th, that she's with social circles. She's out. I thought that was pretty, and she's out in the public. 10th house, out in the public, right? It's just such a sad story. I pray that they find her. I think she was carried out of the house for sure. I think she was carried out of the house. Okay, so what I did is, because she was born in Kentucky, right? So I thought, well, I'm going to take a look at her natal chart. Remember? So she was born on January 27th, 1942. She just had a birthday in Fort Wright, Kentucky. Okay. Look, she's an Aquarius stellium. What a sweetheart. Gemini moon and a Taurus rising. She is the rock and steady rock of the family. With all that Taurus, is a Taurus rising. She loved beautiful things. was chatty, was friend. Everybody loved this woman. She was that friendly. Aquarius, absolutely darling. Look at that. Look at that. Just a great chart. Well, as you all know, from we look at charts all the time, every week. And how many times have you all heard me say, when the lunar nodes are triggered? I say it 100 times a month. When we have any type of an incident, the lunar nodes are triggered. What are the lunar nodes? The north node is your destiny, what you came here to fulfill. South node is what you've done, what you're walking away from, what your past lives were, right? So her north node, the transiting north node up in the 11th house, is right on top of her south node, her natal south node. What that is, natal south node, transiting, hitting the north node is the soul can check out. If you want to leave, you can go. That's the door. That's the door for the soul to go. I've seen it a million freaking times. A million times I've seen this. So we look down at her natal north node in Virgo is conjunct the transit south node in Virgo. Also, her chart, we have Uranus transit in the first house. Uranus is shocking. It's right on top of her ascendant, which is her physical body. This natal chart says it all. Then we look up in the 10th house. Transit Pluto is right on top of her midheaven. So this is going to be public, very public. Transit Pluto is opposing her natal Pluto in the 4th house of home. Now, some would argue, is this destined? And I would say, pretty good argument there. Mars is on top of her sun. Transit Mars is on top of her sun. Transit Mars is opposing her natal Pluto. This is like one of those charts that you just want to just shake your head and say, it's you can't make this up. You simply I can't make it up. Because it's always the north and south node. And I still pray that, we got to keep hope. I hope that she was abducted. I hope that those ransom notes are legit. I don't think they are. I think some nut did it, but we'll have to see. I think my mind changed. I don't like seeing what was in the front yard, what was in the front walkway. And they have said that is her BLOOD. They have come out and said that. So I think it's just a matter of time. Was their glass broke from the inside out or outside in? I don't think there was any glass broken, Lee. I didn't hear that there was glass. They also, the sheriff did say there was blood on the inside of the home as well. Now, they didn't say how much. They said it was hers, that the DNA has come back that it was hers. So I don't like the spray pattern. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that there's no footprints. And I don't like the fact that she was very bad on her feet. So she had trouble walking on the side of door window. I don't know. I don't know if it was broken. I hadn't heard that. Um, we'll just stay optimistic. But every time I look at I would be so happy to be wrong, because I think she's got a wonderful family. I think she's got a beautiful daughter and that loves her so much. And I think it'd just be so tragic. It is downward. Yes, it is downward. So she was either being held up or carried. Held up or carried. It's straight down. It's the downward projection. And that I don't like the spray. So we're going to have to see, what did somebody come into the house earlier? I don't know. Did somebody stay in the house longer? The lights were left on in the home too. So has anybody else heard anything else about the case that I've missed? Kathy does not feel unalived yet. Not yet. Hi, Keith. Thank you. Tammy says, I pray she's okay. Tammy, I know the son-in-law is a prime suspect, but after listening to you, I'm starting to, I don't know. Tammy, here's Tammy. I don't know. It won't let me, it won't let me pull. Oh, there we go. Here we go, Tammy. Starting to think the daughter had something to do with it as well. Financial gain. I think everything's out there. Don't you all? I think everything's out on the table. I think anything's possible. Don't you all think? I wondered if they released the home to the family so quickly so they could watch the family and see what they did. See if any certain family member seemed anxious to get in there and do something. Possibly. What was funny is last night they had a chopper, the sheriff's chopper last night, flying so low, and they had sheriffs like looking out the side of the chopper on either, just looking in the back of her home. So what were they looking for? Anything maybe? I don't know. What were they looking for? And Tammy, I thought of you too. They had the Border Patrol came up with their canines, which are, and Tammy knows this, they're the best in the world. Those dogs that are down on the border and with the Border Patrol are the best trained in the world. And apparently that, I guess they lost the scent because she was apparently put in a vehicle. It is, Lisa. It's amazing. It never ceases to amaze me. The natal chart, Lisa, is what amazes me. It's all there. Look at that. You cannot make the natal chart. And even we don't have a time of birth, we know what those outers are doing. The only thing that might shift a little bit is really nothing. Well, her ascendant could be an ascendant. She could be like a Gemini ascendant, maybe. But, it would still all be there lined up, especially the North and South node. So it is just absolutely crazy. I will gladly, Miss Peggy, send you snow. It hasn't melted here. We have at least, and we had like couple inches yesterday. But we had like 13 inches, 12 inches, I think, Lisa. How much do we have, Lisa? I know we had a foot, 10 inches, 11 inches. And then we got some yesterday and we're getting more Friday. It just hasn't stopped. It's pretty though. I mean, it really is pretty. But, once you get past like 10 inches, it's like it's too much. I mean, my whole street is like it's all you see are piles of snow because there's nowhere to put it. It's not melting. It's just piled. You can't even see anybody's yards. It's just like 8-foot piles of snow. It's crazy. Does anybody else do we have any thoughts on any of this? Lois, do you see anything in the charts? Crystal, I don't know if you're watching, hun. Do you guys see anything? Do you guys see anything? There's your splatter. There's your splatter, Lisa. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. And did the police take that nest and the nest cams were all destroyed? And there's the front. And so you see all that gravel. Was there any droppings? My thought process was, were there any droppings on that sidewalk going down to the driveway? And there were not. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's another mystery. This is a huge mystery. It's just it just gets more baffling as you okay, there's the home. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful home. I think, and see if you can see, it looks like she's got a ramp down the drive. So that would have been the ramp for possibly her walker or if she had a wheelchair. Did she have a ramp? Why was there no droppings on the ramp? It's just really a mystery. Very big mystery. And look, you have a guest house back there. I'll show you where the in the back. Okay, down where those bushes are, there's the back door over to the left. If you see where that green area is, and then over to the left, that's where the back door was. It's right back. It's by the guest house. By the guest house. That's a big house. That's a big, big house, isn't it? And as you can see, it's so set back, you can't see. So even if you had a Ring camera, you couldn't see anything. I have map. I mapped it. I forgot. So I went ahead and mapped it, and I thought, well, maybe it'll show if it goes down to, let's see if it goes down to the border, maybe. Okay, here we go. So I mapped it. Now, her daughter and son-in-law, the middle is where her house is, as you all know on the map. But see where it says like Shadow Hill, go over a little bit more to the circle, live just about due west from her home, about 10 minutes away. Straight due west, and no line goes to that. However, look at the lines. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was really interesting. Look at those. Look at that section of lines. In the Shadow View Estates. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, I don't know if that gives any clue for anything. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's just crazy. It's just, I thought those lines were pretty interesting for the mapping. Oh, investigators found signs of forced entry, a broken window, or potentially a broken door with a blood trail. That's just crazy. Investigators found signs of forced entry at the home. Reports and photos indicate a broken window or potentially a broken door with a blood trail. they're not giving out a whole lot of information. Lee said that she will send you snow too, Peggy. Here we go. And Tammy, I've donated pups to train that went to the Border Patrol. And they're the best in the world, aren't they, hon? They're great. Yes. Yes, Friday, and I think Sunday too. Definitely Friday. More. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done with snow. Finished. I'm ready for spring. 10 inches snow got to go. We all feel that way, Lee. We're done. We're done, Lisa, aren't we? We're finished with it. Oh my goodness. And Peggy says that where I used to live in Mississippi just got power. I'll tell you what, Peggy, that storm, I felt so bad for people down south because they had ice. And I just kept saying to my daughter, I'll take a foot of snow. Our power stayed on. Is just no ice. Just please, no ice. I hate ice. Ice is the worst. It's so treacherous. And Lee says NASA can weigh in. NASA. Yeah, they can. Ellie needs code. They were trying to find it in the cloud. In the cloud. I love the pool. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. And Lee says, look at former residents. She's lived there since 1991. You know, it's an elderly, it's an elderly community. It's an elderly community. It's so sad. To me, I think it's just horrific. And the chart is crazy. I know this chart's crazy. Hi, Crystal. I'm here just eating dinner. One thing I did notice, second house moon and Jupiter also squaring the nodes. Yep. Yeah. The nodes fire up when people can leave. We've seen it hundreds of times. Suspicious of this being financially motivated is pretty high to me. I think we all, I looked for that. And, what was funny is the event chart did not have anything in the second house. It just, second or eighth house, and neither had anything going on in the eighth. So I thought of that. I thought that too with the ransom. We don't have a lot of ransom situations here in the United States, but in Mexico, it's very common. It's very, very common. People get in trouble with drug deals or what have you, and a family member can get kidnapped if they owe money. It's very common in other countries. It's not here. It's not here. It's just so sad. I just keep praying that she shows up and just drop her off somewhere if they've got her. Me too. We got rain and cold weather. Ugh. We're done with all the rain too. Does anybody else want to weigh in? Have you guys heard anything else? Any other rumors? I think we've got a lot of the rumor mill is going crazy, I believe. But you know what people are being so, praying for her. I think everybody just wants the best to happen, to, the outcome. We all want a great outcome for this case. It's just so sad. I think it's just very, very sad. I think that's all I had. Let me see. Now, I was working on over the weekend There's the chart again. Now, I was working on a case, and we'll do it next week because it's just fast. It's fascinating. I don't know if you all remember this case. It was called the Dolly Madison Unalives. And there's 2 victims. And it was back in 2002 in Kansas. And it was, remember the old, I'm sure y'all do, we used to call them the bread store. Like they would be like the bread store where you could go get like a quarter loaf of bread back then. And they would be like mom would call it the day old bread. And it was called the bread store. And they were Dolly Madison shops. So that's why that's where this unaliving happened. So it's a very big mystery. Great. It's really an interesting case. So we'll do that one next week. What's orange mean? I don't know what's orange mean. What do you mean? What's orange mean? I don't know. I used red lines. It might show up orange on the chart, but I used red. I don't know. But I don't know what orange means. Does anybody have any other thoughts, comments, heard any other rumors? We'll all keep up with it. Whatever. I'm glad to see that the FBI went back into the home tonight and they apparently took out boxes. So they're getting, the FBI's on it. They're getting closer and closer. I think they're getting very, very close. I think we're going to hear something either tonight or tomorrow. I think they're gonna find it. Something's gonna break. Something's gonna break. So you guys have a safe, warm week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much. I hope that was interesting with this case. I'll tell you, it's a heck of a case, isn't it? Very sad. So we'll all say a prayer for Savannah and her family and hope for the best. And let's just pray that Nancy comes back to them. I hope so. It's so sad. 84 years old. Who does that? Who would do that? It doesn't sink into my brain. So, but stay warm this week. Spring will be here soon. We're almost to spring. We've only got a couple more weeks of cold weather, right? And snow. So stay warm. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll keep you updated on this. And thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. And we'll do the Dolly Madison next week because I have that one all ready to go too. And then this one popped up, and I thought, oh my goodness, we got to look at Miss Nancy. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and just pray for the best, So, well, thanks you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see y'all. Have a great week, great weekend, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 for the Dolly Madison case. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night. Good night.